Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Clintonville Slasher. I'm your host, Lurch. I'm joined by my lovely wife, Julie. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Monday, everybody. Back to the salt mines. So today, we're going to be giving a slight rundown of The Walking Dead, one of our favorite TV shows for the last 12 years. So The Walking Dead was released October 31st in 2010. It was written by short graphic novels by a guy named Robert Kirkman. It stars Norman Reedus, Andrew Lincoln, Chandler Riggs, amongst many, many others. So, this show, when it first came out, I actually wasn't a fan of this show when it first came out. I was actually stuck on Sons of Anarchy. Yes. So, I didn't get to watch the show until season 2. So, let's talk about some of your favorite seasons.
3.
Season 3. That's actually my favorite as well.
Actually, my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I loved the governor. I loved it when they were stuck in the prisons. That was one of my favorite. I loved it because it was straight. A lot of it was taken right out of the book. I loved season 3.
I did too.
What are some of your other ones? I loved the first season as well.
Gosh.
The first 3 seasons are awesome. I love 3. I go like 3, 1, 2, 6, 7.
I do not like 1. I thought
Really?
Season 1 was super boring.
You think season 1 is boring over season 4?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, season 4 is a
really,
snooze fest.
Yeah, season 4 was really... but I think if I didn't watch season 1, I would still know what was going on.
No, because you missed that whole... You missed a lot of shit from the end of the season. The very best part about season 1 is when Rick... they're in the CDC, they're about to get let out. Spoilers, we're spoiling the shit out of the show. If you haven't seen it, then you're living under a rock. So, at the very end of season 1, when they're going and they're running out and they're like, help us, let us out of the CDC, because he's got like in this like lockdown that's gonna explode. And he tells him, he whispers something into Rick's ear, and they run out. And at the end of season 2, you find out what he said, when he said, we're all infected. And that was so good.
Okay, so maybe I don't remember that part.
Why
not? So long ago. Because it was so long ago.
You don't rewatch episodes?
And neither do you.
Yeah, I do. I rewatch it on YouTube.
Oh, that's what you're doing every night.
Yeah, I'm studying for our show. Duh.
Okay.
I haven't seen the first season in like 12 years, so
I
had to brush up. I had to brush up to know.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it in 12 years.
Okay.
So I haven't seen it in 12 years, so I'm trying to piece together my memory. Like, all I remember is, like, this... what I remember of season 1 is them running through the neighborhoods and the, like, fucking zombies laying on the ground, like, slow.
Oh, that half zombie is awesome. Like, the first 2 zombies that are shown in that show are awesome.
Really long. The first part of it was, like, really long-winded, and I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, what is going on here? And it was just really hard to get into for me.
If you weren't a fan of the books before the show came out, then you wouldn't. I didn't even know the books existed when the show came out. I had no idea it was a graphic novel. I had no clue.
I didn't do any of the books. I have never read any of the books.
Oh, the books are good.
I know.
Books are awesome.
But I never I relied on you for that.
Yeah, because I read ahead and then I tell you what's going on.
You go online and you find out what's going on and you research all that stuff. And I was just like, I want to watch the show. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to have a biased opinion because I like, most of the time I like the originals more than I like the remakes.
Right.
So I didn't want to harbor any of that.
Right.
So I really wanted to just see where it was going.
The only reason I would read ahead is to kind of see where the show would either make it better or make it worse.
You get obsessed with things.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You do.
So, let's move on from the seasons and favorite characters. Some of your favorite characters from the entire series.
I didn't like Daryl at first.
Really?
I didn't. When they were up on the rooftop when they first met him.
He wasn't up on the rooftop when they first met him. That's Merle.
Merle was up on the rooftop. That's right. So when they first met Daryl and then they came across Merle and all that, I was like,
Merle was an asshole, and they left him on a roof, and they left him chained up there, and then that Daryl Dixon was part of their party, which I think is really funny, because Norma Reedus read for the part of for Merle Dixon, and
so glad
they were
didn't
already
get it.
going to give it to Michael Rooker, and they decided to make Daryl just a side character, and he ended up being a fan favorite.
I know
living
you
for the
said
entire
that.
thing.
I love Daryl. I love Daryl. I love Beth. Beth was one of my
Oh, I
favorites.
love Beth too.
I do love Maggie, and I absolutely love Carol.
Carol!
Love Carol. She's such a badass.
She went from battered housewife to look at the flowers, baking cookies, killing wolves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sewing a machine gun in her
Badass
jacket.
and still baking cookies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
bad
love
motherfucker. Carol's
love
a
her.
bad,
Not one to fuck with.
bad. I would never fuck with Carol.
See,
No way.
That's what happens. Yeah, don't fuck with the housewives.
No, don't. I don't fuck with the housewives.
We eventually fucking.
Okay, some of my
housewife, but
some of my favorite characters are obviously like I love Rick, Daryl. I love the governor. I loved Maggie, but I love Maggie after Glenn. I liked Maggie and Glenn together,
I did
but
too.
after Glenn,
she
she's
was a
badass.
She is.
But my ultimate favorite character.
Oh, Negan! I can't forget Negan.
Oh,
Jeffrey
that
Dean Morgan.
was Jeffrey Dean Morgan was so badass. He is sexy.
He is sexy.
He's sexy. I would probably kiss him. I'm not even gonna lie about that. I'd kiss him right on his lips.
He is a very.
That lineup was deadly. When he walked out, hi, I'm Negan. You're Rick, right?
In the last episode though, when he's talking to Maggie and he's talking to her about the lineup.
Yeah.
I was like, you can totally tell that he's changed.
I don't like it.
You don't?
No,
like
I do not like Negan's story arc. I think that's the most pathetic way to end him. I love Negan from season 6 all the way until he kills Alpha. Once he becomes a nice guy, I fucking hate that shit because it didn't happen in the books, and Negan is the smart ass. I want this place tickles my balls, Negan. I want I do not forgive you when he stabs that dude in the neck, or when he kills fucking Austin Nichols and he stabs him and he goes, "It's because you got no guts." Whack! I love that Negan.
I love that
I
Negan
don't
too.
like that story arc. That pisses me the fuck right off.
I was like, but if you think about it, he like reverted back to the way he was prior when the apocalypse.
I love his backstory too.
His backstory is amazing.
That was a really good episode. That was really good with Hillary Burton, his wife. Yeah. And you know why Austin Nichols got killed off in that show? You're not supposed to kiss Negan's wife in a different TV show.
That's true.
I'm just saying. You guys, I've never seen One Tree Hill. I don't know what we're talking about.
Big fan.
Huge fan. I have no shame. No shame in my game.
Fans of the One Tree Hill.
So let's go with the favorite episodes.
My favorite episode?
Yeah, some of your favorite episodes.
Oh, jeez. I know it's sad, but I really felt the intensity when Carl got shot.
That's a sad episode.
It is sad when their house catches on fire. When they bring out Carol's daughter from
the barn.
There's like so many of them, and then the property catches on fire and they're all loose and all that other stuff. That was a really big one for me. When who was it? Oh, when Michonne was introduced and she was pulling around her brothers.
Yeah, that shit was nuts. Michonne, another one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I loved Michonne. I think it was awesome. So some of my favorite episodes are actually like the lineup. I think that was like one of the biggest cliffhangers in TV, the best cliffhangers in TV history.
Oh, I know.
There would be no other cliffhanger better than that.
No.
Like, there's no, because the internet was going nuts, and I loved the fact that they killed 2 people. I loved Abraham. I loved it was awesome character, but I love that they killed 2 of them, and I love how they killed Glenn in that lineup, and they kill him in the way they killed the books, and he's all, Maggie, I'll find you, and I popped your skull so hard your eyeball just popped out, And it is gross as shit. I fucking love
And how
Negan.
Maggie brings that whole thing up.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
the
she
very
does at the very
She brings
end.
she brings it back all the way, and it just reminds you of that fucking lineup. And
Oh,
when
I
like,
love the
had
lineup.
Carol.
So good.
And I was like so excited.
But that's a
about
little
that.
anticlimactic, them having that conversation if
At the
they're
very
just gonna
end.
go off and do another spin-off show, and like
Is he
Negan
gonna
is
be in there
reverting
with
back to his old ways.
Is he going with Maggie?
I don't know how they're gonna set it up. All I know is that it's a Negan
I know
and
that
Maggie. It's called Dead City.
but he leaves, so
I don't know how it's supposed to. Apparently, it's supposed to take place years in advance.
Years prior.
Years later.
Oh, years later.
Years later, and I'll get to that in a second. So another one of my favorite episodes has got to be when they show up at Alexandria. That's another great episode. The Pike death from the Whisperers.
Yeah.
That shit had my heart thumping. But that
When
lineup.
they got kicked. When they went to Terminus.
Oh, that is, I was gonna say that. The
Terminus.
Escaping Terminus is
Yeah.
my very favorite episode. That episode is so intense, and it has such a good ending because
Yeah.
they get reunited with baby Judith, and
Right.
you know, I just that whole that's season 5. That is that end of
Season
4.
4 is really
4 is so boring.
boring.
And my least favorite episode out of the entire series has got to be like, Morgan's backstory. Oh my god.
No, actually, it's when not Morgan's back. Is it Morgan's backstory where he goes to the old guy? And
Yeah.
then, like in the house with the like.
And he's teaching him how to fight, but Morgan's all like, I gotta clear.
But no, is it that one where he's like staying in the cage?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that Morgan's backstory?
Yeah.
Okay, boring.
yeah.
Or-
It's so
or right
boring.
when Carol separates and they're
They're all separated. I didn't
Ugh.
like that. And the one thing about this show that I've always liked, and I've
Okay.
liked and disliked at the same time, is the fact that it's like a character building show. Then they spend so much time bringing these characters in, and they giving them like this huge backstory. So when you ended it, it was like, why are you ending it? Because you're not really ending the show or the series. Like you've given, like there's no way to end it. There's so much shit. Some of the things that I didn't like was the fact that Rosita and King Ezekiel, that was another really great episode too. But King Ezekiel actually got the Pike death in the books, and I felt like his character was kind of anticlimactic through the entire thing until the very end. Although I liked his character development, but I still feel like he should have been on the Pike.
I liked seeing him up there. I think it would have been more climax. I think it would. I don't know. I like him being the new
Governor
King again.
Yeah, I think that's really
like
cool.
that. I just didn't. I felt like it could have gone a different way. I felt like they could have put Carol up there and it would have been just as equally climatic.
Yeah, but I think that Carol is going to go with the spin-off show.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. They could have put other people up there.
Right.
They could have even had what's her name, the lawyer,
Yumiko.
They could have had Yumiko run it.
That's true too. Or they could have had Mercer run it, and Mercer
Yeah.
would have just done a really good job. I like
Right.
Mercer too.
Me too.
Mercer and Princess could have ran the.
Oh,
ran
absolutely.
But that wasn't the Commonwealth though. That was Alexandria.
Right.
So everything's being fixed.
I'm thinking that I don't know. I felt like it was null and void. I think because then he got that cancer on his neck, and his brother.
It was weird.
I was like, oh, he's gonna die, and like.
But he was already past the Pike death.
I was already prepared for him to go, and I kept wanting. I was like, well, are him and Carol gonna get back together? Like,
yeah, it was really. What's gonna happen?
What is his place with this? Like he just every time
Yeah, I smile.
he would smile. That's it. There really wasn't. Yeah, he was a badass killer in the movie. Like in the show, he was really great. He had a good. I felt like he could have not been there.
Right. But I loved Shiva.
And then, oh yeah, Shiva was my favorite.
Yeah.
And had they put like him and her together on the Pikes, like.
Her and Shiva? Alpha couldn't kill Shiva. That's another thing about that. That's a 685-pound Bengal tiger.
Yeah.
There's no way a dead, rotting person can rip apart a 600-pound Bengal tiger when they could stand on their back legs and swing like probably, 600 pounds per square inch.
Something
They
like
could
that.
swat
Yeah,
your
really
head
expert.
with like half the force of Mike Tyson and your head would fall off. There's no way a Bengal tiger can kill an elephant, a full-grown elephant. There's no way that a Bengal... I understand why they did it, because it was probably $1 million to have that damn tiger on that show. Another one of my favorite episodes has got to be where they do the time jump after Rick dies, and the new group is showing up with Yumiko and all them, and they get saved, and this little tiny girl shoots a bunch of zombies and then flips her hat on. She goes, "I'm Judith Grimes." That was probably one of my favorite.
Oh, I know. I love
Oh
that.
man, I love the actress that plays her. I think she did a phenomenal
she
job.
did.
I cannot remember her name. Kaylee Fleming. That's who that is. I also think that one of my biggest things with this is like, you lost your show after Michonne left. Like, actually, after the Whisper War was over, like, you lost your show completely to me. Like, there was no intensity left anymore. It was just basically like, let's just finish this 11th season and then move on.
I feel like they're.
They could have ended at the 10th season and it would have been just as good. They didn't even have to mention the Commonwealth.
I felt like they were just throwing stuff out there at that point.
I did like the ending. I did like the last episode. I really did like that. So there was actually an alternate ending. So all the kids, Judith, Coco, RJ, Herschel, and Gracie, which is Aaron's little one.
Right.
They all were supposed to get, and so there's another version of this where they're in the car and they're all grown up and they're driving back to, they're driving into Atlanta, and RJ's on the radio and he says, "Is there anybody out there? Is anybody out there?" And on the voice on the other end of the radio says, "This is Rick Grimes," and Judith slams on the brakes. And that's the ending of the show.
Oh my
and
God.
we were never going to see Rick and Michonne. And I kind of hope when they come out with
That would have been awesome.
yeah, I kind of hope when they come out with the DVD that is on the DVD so we can see the alternate ending, because I really want to see that.
Yeah.
I really want to see that.
I
That
would,
sounds
too.
awesome. And even like that idea of them growing up, like I would love to see that as a spin-off show. Like that would even be cool.
Right.
So some of my favorite, we'll do some of my favorite kills. I loved the lineup was awesome, but I think that like my favorite zombie kill of all time is when Aaron and Daryl are running through like this meat packaging place, and it's like right when the wolves are introduced,
Mm-hmm.
and Daryl they're climbing under these semi truck trailers, and Daryl has a chain and he swings it and he hits the zombies in the face. That was so good. Or anytime Michonne uses her sword and just like she would never like cut their heads off, she like sliced their heads in half or sliced just the top of their heads off.
Right.
Anything. Rick Grimes was another great zombie kills. I mean, there were so many good zombie kills. Even after like Aaron lost his hands and he had that mace ball.
Yeah, I couldn't put a. I didn't think I could ever put
A favorite kill.
a favorite kill on the zombie.
Glenn?
They were pretty awesome. For zombie kills.
Oh, like any kill in the show.
Oh, any kill?
Like the saddest death for me is Noah, where him and Glenn are stuck in the revolving doors.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so horrible. That is that one makes me cringe, because that is just like, oh my god, that is so terrible. Like you were stuck in the revolving doors, and the only way to like save Glenn is to hold the doors closed, and the zombies just tear his neck apart.
I know. That was so sad.
Or what about when the zombies?
Can you put that down?
I'm gonna start swinging it around.
I know.
Give me half your shit.
You
So.
already have half my shit.
Oh, give me half of it. What I say is half. So, what about when the zombies, or the walkers, because zombies don't exist in this world for some reason, but what about when they come into Alexandria and the walls get knocked down and they have to like, everybody, this is like when Carl loses his eye in that episode, and they like, Rick goes out with a hatchet and just like mows him down with the entire crew, and that shit was crazy. That same episode is the one where Daryl blows up all those bikers with the bazooka.
Yeah.
That was fucking so good.
Yeah, I liked the introduction into Alexandria. I really did. There's just so much I liked about the whole
Yeah.
show. Like, I'm putting bits and pieces together just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, no.
I really loved all of it.
Yeah, I did too. So if you guys have never seen this show, I highly suggest it. There is so much more we could talk about, but unfortunately we've run out of time today. So I want to thank you so much, honey, for being here today. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until
Yes.
I do. Sometimes she's on the show, and sometimes she's upstairs talking to her best friends.
Bestie.
And like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay horror. We'll see you later.